Hello, this is lesson 1 from my son, Kyle's son. We're just gonna go through some basics. I know you're sick today, but I thought maybe I'd just shoot you a video, like, to make sure, maybe you can study this within the week. It's just a couple chords here. I don't know, everything's backwards, I know, but here, let's do this real quick. Got just a few simple chords written down here. I don't know if you want to just pause the video and just write these chords down. I mean, these are more than the chords that Elvis was able to learn. Or he probably only played a few chords, and look at him, he's the king, you know. So I don't know if you want to write this down. We're just going to go through A, D, E, G, and C. Very basic, but for this is, I don't know how far you are along. You might be doing Inve Malmsteen solos, Kyle. I don't know. And then basically what I have here is just, you got these numbers like 1, 2, and 3. That just signifies, 1, 2, and 3 on your fingers. I don't know if you can see this. Wait a minute. You see this? Yeah, it's kind of backwards. I don't know. It's kind of split up. Sorry. So I sent you the chord chart in a text, Kyle. So the first chord, we'll just make sure we're in tune, is ultimately important. You got this little snark. See the little snark? I think it's called, yeah, it's snark. So you can be snarky with your snark. So you can check your tuning. Oh, is that showing an E? Wait, that's not the way to be in tune. Put this on the headstock of your guitar. Make sure this is pointed to you so you can see it. And sometimes you just gotta let the string ring. Just let it ring. Don't keep going. Because the snark tuners, they're so touchy. So I just let it ring. Let it go, and then it's gotta be green for E. So as long as the line's in the middle and it's green. If you go further, it'll be in the yellow, so just get it. Sometimes what helps is if you go to the double dots on your guitar and just hit that harmonic note. You can let it ring, then you can play with it to be in tune, and you just go down the line here. And the only problem that I have with this acoustic guitar is, whatever reason, the B string. That's the one that's temperamental with me. I don't know. Sometimes that's the one that always buzzes out of tune quicker than the rest. And that's the E chord. But the strings are E, A, D, G, B, E. That's an octave. This is a high E. Thicker string is a low E. Okay. So I guess we'll learn how to play the A. So you take your 1, 2, 3 fingers. You put your first finger on the 3rd string, which is this D string. Go to the 2nd fret. Okay, and you take your 2nd finger and you go on the D string, or the G string, I'm sorry. So it's first finger on the D string, 2nd fret, 2nd finger on the G string, 2nd fret. Then if you could get your 3rd finger in there like that, kind of like that, those 3 fingers, it's kind of crunchy, and relax. Don't like hang on to it like it's, just squeezing a stress ball. Just relax. As long as you have. That's a hard note. That's a hard chord for me. I don't like hitting that one. But just, I gotta have a nice arch. Just make sure you can just make sure you're just kind of loose with it. And if you have a new guitar, and the guitar that I've seen you buy, it looks like it's got good action. So it doesn't take much just to press the notes down. Now I'm using an acoustic guitar. The strings are a little higher off the fretboard, so I do have to use some, great Arnold Schwarzenegger bowling ball crushing strength in this hand for some acoustic guitars, but it's I'm used to it. I play bass too, so, and those strings are a lot thicker and are more like foam cables, so I'm kind of used to. It's kind of weird going from a 2x4 to a pencil, but I'm just babbling here. So again, A string. So open A. You gotta mute this E string. Don't play that. You gotta play A. And you gotta arch your hand a little bit towards you, like up and towards you, your left hand, your playing hand there, your chord hand, to make all the strings come out. Don't play the E string because it'll sound like this. I mean, that is a chord, but not your standard A chord though. All right. You can pick, just to make sure you get all the open strings. That's Elvis. Sometimes if you see old videos of Elvis, he doesn't even have strings on his guitar. He just had the looks, you know. Okay, the next one is the D string. So you can't play the E and the A on this one. These are open D. Okay, so you leave the D string open, then you go to the G string, and you use your first finger on the G string on the 2nd fret. Okay, so take your first finger, go to the D string, or G string, sorry, the G string, 2nd fret, 1st finger, and then you gotta, it's kind of a weird little diamond kind of shape, like a triad shape, and then your 3rd finger, you gotta go to your B string, 3rd fret, okay, and then if you can get your swear finger kind of tucked in the highest string on the E string, 2nd fret. Kind of like that shape. So those crosses, so picture the guitar kind of up like this. Okay? When you're looking at those charts I gave you, this is your frets. These are your strings. You know, 1st fret, 2nd fret. So that would be your D. Does that make any sense? I'm not the best teacher. Put a little reverb on the guitar because it's kind of cool. I like it. All right, so the next chord is my favorite chord. I love the D. I love playing the low D on the bass. Actually, on the 5th string, love the low D. But the E string is pretty kind of like your blues. It's like your really cool, like Mexican style flamenco sound. So for the next one, we're going to move to, so it shows that an E, you got to play open, E string open. The A string, you got to put your 2nd finger, your swear finger, on the 2nd fret of the A string, and then your 3rd finger on the D string, 2nd fret, and then your pointing finger on your G string, you just do the 1st finger on the G string, 1st fret. Does that make sense? And it's a fun chord. You can keep the same position, move that whole shape up 1 fret, and back and forth, and you get this little Mexican. See? It's part of a song already. I know I'm kind of moving quick. The next chord shape is G. So on your E string, you gotta be using your 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of the E string. And then the next string is an A. You gotta put your 1st finger on the 2nd fret. And then I suppose sometimes it's more comfortable to use my 4th finger on the high E string, 3rd fret. Makes it more comfortable. Or, you know, you can even put your 3rd finger on the 2nd fret of the B string, and then on the E string, use your 4th finger. It's a little bit more cleaner to me. I like that. It's fuller. I I mean, it's not correct, but I just find it harder. That's the true G right there. But I just like, I don't know, it's a little different. But then you could play it right there. See, now my hand didn't move, and I was moving from G to a D to an A, and it all right there. It's kind of like you just kind of keep the, you already can do "Wish You Were Here" by Pink Floyd, which is kind of cool. It's a fun chord. Um, uh, I'll show you another song that's fairly easy about transitioning these chords, a few chords together to make a song. So we'll do this. Last chord that I send that sheet out for you on is the C chord. So you got your third finger on the A string, 3rd fret, your second finger on the D string, 2nd fret, and then your first finger on the B string, 1st fret. Does that make sense? Third finger, 3rd fret of the A, second finger, 2nd fret of the D, and then first finger on the 1st fret of the B. And this is a C chord. Sounds kind of happy. And you gotta let the high E string ring, and you gotta let that middle G in there, which I kind of scuff up a lot. You gotta let those ring, and then you gotta quiet. You can't play the E, otherwise it'll sound like this. Kind of, it's really off. You have that. You gotta mute that. That X means mute or don't play. So you just gotta. And see, I don't use a pick. So I haven't used a pick ever since Brian Knox in a band called Cobalt Fur got up from behind his drum set, and I was using a pick because I wanted to be like Chris Square from Yes, and I had a Rickenbacker at the time. I was picking, he goes, grabbed the pick out of my hand and threw it in the corner. Like, you ain't picking anymore, you're using your fingers. I'm like, okay. And that was like my first real serious band, and then I liked Iron Maiden at the time too. Then I started looking at, players that just use their fingers, like John Paul Jones, he played with a pick too. Sometimes you'd see him play with his fingers. I think later he did, from Zeppelin. And then Steve Harris from Iron Maiden, and then John Isley from Dire Straits, the bass player from Dire Straits. So I watched that and I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. But anyway, that's bass. But I just kind of took my bass technique over to my guitar. I just hate dropping picks. I seen Johnny V, my counterpart, my duo, like, standing up and looking for us. I'm like, what's going on? They're like 2 seconds before we have to hit the downbeat. He's panicking. I'm like, oh, we can open up with a different song. What's wrong? He's like, I don't know where my pick is. And then he would be cutting up his old credit cards to make a pick, like a little diamond-shaped pick, which would work. I've saved them from, I think I cut up a Super Saver card or something like that so I can cut into a pick. And got them through the show, but I don't want to be worried about that, having picks. I would have to throw picks all over the stage just to make sure every gig I had a pick, but I don't. It's like a capo, like this thing. I lose these a lot. If I don't have this for a show, for a 3-hour show, solo, kind of screwed. So I hope you got a guitar that stays in tune, I know you said it was inexpensive, but I saw that it was a Fender Square electric guitar. Real nice. So, those are all the chords. A, D, E, G, and C. So, you should be okay. So, the song that you're going to have to try to learn how to play by transitioning. Yeah. Wait a minute. Oh, there it is. Okay. I had to remember how my Uncle Jerry taught me. My Uncle Jerry taught me this. He was teaching me bass, and I would learn the bass line, and then he would play the guitar, and then I felt like a rock star first lesson. So this song is called Gloria. So you just go. So E, 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 pattern is. It's just those chords that I showed you. It's just E, D, A. I wasn't really playing the A right, but the A chord is tough for me. That's Gloria. Give me a G, L, O, R, I, G, L, R, I, Gloria, G, L, R, I, Gloria. That's pretty much it. And it's just, you just got to keep these shapes in your head, you know, these chord shapes, and then, you know, you can move them around or whatever. And this is way before we need to get into any thoughts of learning minor chords. I'll show you that another time. We got to get these down. All right, that's your lesson today, Kyle. I know you're sick. I love you. Here's a little bit of that Tall Cool Woman song that you want to learn. I sent you an instructional video. I think he teaches it better, and that's quite a song, man. That opening line, I don't know it, but all I know is. Something like that. So that's just the E. And that's only like one note on the A string, so it's E chord. And your picking hand. You gotta, I mean, I don't know if you're using a pick, but that's the E chord. The E chord. Second finger on the second fret of the A, third finger on the second fret of the D, and the first finger on the first fret of the G string. You let it all open. All, okay? And, you know, that's what it looks like. G string looks like you're always flipping somebody off. I like the way that looks. Screw you, man. That's the FU chord. FG chord. But yeah, that's kind of it. So all right, that's your lesson for today, Kyle. Send the money in the mail. $400. I'm kidding. My lessons are free, buddy. You know that. I love you. Bye-bye.